hard teenage life, with all my mouth and my talking back and getting knocked down to the floor because I didn't know how to be quiet, and that was still okay. Because what it taught me when I got older, not that I advise you to teach your children like this because I'm a mandated reporter for anybody in the room, but what I learned is to not regret all the things that happened, and there was a lot. There was sexual abuse, there was assault, there was violence, there was a lot that happened. Can't say that I regretted any of it, I just wish it didn't happen. What I did learn from it was how to not be so naive. And in the meantime, all my stubbornness and all my anger and all my rigidness helped me to not feel defeated as an adult. I could be standing before you saying, woe is me. This is why, I do drugs. This is why I'm an alcoholic. This is why I don't take care of my kids. Never did drugs. Never drank wine until I was over 30. And that's like a glass occasionally. And this is when you can speak and say, I cannot hold my weight at all. It's very sad. It's very sad. Half a glass and I'm under the table. It's very sad. But I'm grateful. And all my feistiness is exactly what made me go through drug school. Magna cum laude, triple major. It's exactly what made me hold down 3 jobs. Pregnant early, my son is 15. I was pregnant freshman year. Still with my high school sweetheart, married 13 years this month. I didn't have that whole. I get excited when I think about anniversary time coming up on the 30th. Sorry, bring it back. Bring it back. But I didn't follow the tradition that you would think, oh, she was a wild child, she was out there doing this and doing that. No. One man, one love story, still with them. 2 beautiful kids, master's degree, top of my class, working on my doctorate, doing great, owning my own company, working for years, working with victims of sexual trauma, specializing in it, working with women who are stressed during their pregnancy and who lose babies in there. It's all a part of my story, but it made me who I am. I'm also a sex therapist, which is really awesome for my husband. Think about the combination. So with all of that said, I took all of the not so great and I made it great. But I had to go through it. You can't regret it and you can't take it away. It's a part of your process. Then I realized that I had a great system. So I call it the permission to release your success system. The first step in the system is respecting that you have an issue. You have a barrier. Because we walk around like, it's not me, it's her. That was him. It was because he walked out. It was because she chose not to respect our friendship. It was because that child of mine, that teenager, we point the finger a lot. And we might take a little bit of ownership and say, well, that's just the way I am. They understand. I'm a little tough with it, but that's just the way I am. You have to turn it inward and look at what the dominant challenge is. Recognize that you have one. You can't keep saying it was them, it was him, it was her, it's everybody else, it's the world, it's the man. This job, this company, they don't let me. Let's look at it, let's turn it back. Because I could say, oh, it's because I was abused, it's because I didn't have my parents, it's because my grandmother, it's because, no. I'm 30 plus years old. I can no longer say it was because of them. Flush through the rubble. A lot of us say, well, I do recognize that I have a little bit of picking on Anita, a little bit of a social issue. That's, that's my challenge. That's why I can't go from A to F. That's why I can't jump. Is it really a social issue or is it a confidence issue? It's both. Are you afraid that you may show too much of yourself and not be worthy of the next level? Maybe you are just that good, but you don't want to put yourself in that position where people will now challenge you. That's me. When I started my company, we started as employment, staffing services, and corporate wellness training. God gave me the vision years ago. He gave me the mustard seed to start. He said, employ and develop. I'm an academic. I'm a little bit of a nerd. I'm a researcher. I'm a lot of a nerd. And I said, oh, employ. How do I do that? And I took God's word and I plugged it in, did all this research, and said, oh, employment staffing. That'll be great. That's exactly how I'm going to do it. And I was like, all right, God, this is how it's going to be. Like how you ask God to give you confirmation for yourself because you want him to answer you the way you want him to answer you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, my husband is the most skeptical man on the earth. If you say the sky's blue, he says it's green, just to be different than you. If he agrees with this is my confirmation. This is where I should go. I'm upstairs, age of technology. I email my husband from upstairs. He's downstairs. We have like a 1,500 square foot house. It's very tiny. There's absolutely no reason I couldn't yell over the downstairs. I mean, really. I email, babe, what do you think about, helping people through staffing? Because, he knew the vision that God gave me 2 years ago, and it's a 20-year big time vision, and said, but he never told me how to get it started. So I said, what do you think about this? Because I could do this, and I'm convincing him in this email. And then I'll do the training part because it's a part of my dissertation, and da-da-da-da-da, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, all right, buddy, I'm buddy in my house. Come downstairs, let's talk about it. I said, all right. So we talked till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. He's all excited, I'm excited. I'm making it work because he's the HR one of the two of us. So staffing, industry, man, we could do this. And I said, but you have to be the president. He's like, why? It's your vision. So no. I know that you're going to be working full time, and I'm pulling out, and I'm going to be doing this all in, and I'm really doing 90% of the face work. I get that, but I'm more comfortable being behind you. It took me months of crying and a nose, heartache. I won't talk about the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that we lost in the process. It took me to really go through before I listened. And he was telling me and seeding me, and I started a little bit like, okay, I'll add a division that's training that has me doing a little bit more, but I don't really want to, and I don't mind it. I'm not afraid. I'll talk to 500 people or 10. It doesn't matter. But I didn't want to have to do something that was all more me than me being able to say, oh, it's us. It's a group thing. So, making sure that you're thinking about your chaotic thought, which happened before you started to distract yourself by doing this exercise. Were you still thinking about your chaotic thought? Did anybody still have it in your mind? So DBT, which is what we just did, is a mindfulness technique. It synthesizes opposites. When you have something deep going on, you try to do something that is totally opposite, not just distracting. Distraction is one thing, but we all know we could be washing the dishes, trying to distract ourselves from whatever was going on, but you're still thinking about it, right? You have to do something that uses an opposite and synthesizes whatever was going on. So this is something that you can do in your day-to-day, whether it be at work, at home, in traffic. Just try to think about something. Now, obviously, you cannot write in traffic. Don't want you to do that. But there's lots of deep breathing and other things that you can do that infuses opposites, like breathing in, breathing out, 3 seconds in, 5 seconds out, but also saying something affirmative. I'm strong. I'm powerful. I am dynamic. I'm sexy. I'm beautiful. I'm encouraging. She's like, yes. Say something that infuses the opposites for you at that same time.